Speaking of that, as Felder noted, we're going to move to the Red River Shootout, the Red River Showdown. This year, it should be the Red River Shutout. I'm sorry for the pun on that, but you can buy a shirt over at field68.shop if you want to commemorate the Red River Shutout this year. Look, this is essentially, I think this is actually statistically their worst loss to Texas ever in this series. Oklahoma has surrendered 105 points in the last 2 weeks of football. So here's the reaction. Oklahoma should fire Brent Venables. Trevor, I mean, this is your program. You've come out. You've said some controversial things. You told us behind the scenes you were getting accosted from some people for not taking it too lightly on your Sooners. But, I mean, look, this is bad right now. Let's call it what it is. What do they do?
It's very bad. It's very, very bad. In terms of the overreaction, do you fire Brent Venables? The answer is no. The answer is no for every first-year head coach. That being said, this does not happen at the University of Oklahoma, and it hasn't happened. 3 regular season losses in a row. You don't put up a single point versus your biggest rival in the greatest atmosphere in college sports, one of them, if it's not your personal favorite for our listeners. And you let a Texas team who is extremely beatable, and we've seen that when they traveled to Lubbock and got beat by a pretty pedestrian Texas Tech team, make you look like an FCS team, 49-0 in a big-time rivalry game. And you can point the finger a lot of different areas. Pointed at Brent Venables in the defense again. That's 3 weeks in a row now with plus points. Almost 150 points in 3 games. Cannot happen. Pointed at Jeff Lebby, the offensive coordinator. You put up a goose egg, and you really haven't generated much offense in the last couple weeks. Outside of Kansas State, I thought the offense played pretty good that week. Is Dylan Gabriel that good? Or can you not find a way to push the ball down the field? Davis Bevel, the quarterback room at Oklahoma. Your starter goes down. You got to step up to the plate. This guy threw for over 100 yards and a touchdown in a really tight game with Michigan last year when he was at Pitt. Now, granted, he had Aston to throw to, but you go 6 for 12 for 38 yards and an interception in an opportunity for you to go out there and showcase your talent. Unacceptable. You can look at every phase of the game, and you could probably point every player that touched that field and just say, hey, on that play or this day, the way that you came to try and compete was unacceptable. You're the University of Oklahoma. You cannot lose 49-0 in this football game. It was horrible to watch. I was there. I enjoyed my Fletcher's corny dog and a couple beers, but that's about it.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to ask both of you guys. Do we think that Texas is 49 points better than Oklahoma? Roster to roster.
No. Never have been. Never should be.
And I agree with you. So what? So we all agree that they're not 49 points better than this roster. This isn't Texas playing, Incarnate Word or whoever. This isn't that. This is them playing Oklahoma. So we have to go to another level. What's the difference? I think preparation, Sunday to Friday. Sunday to Friday becomes a problem. So what's going on Sunday to Friday that we can't fix? And again, as we mentioned, 105 points over the last 2 weeks. That's another week of Sunday to Friday. And Venables, who I love him. I think he's as a defensive coordinator, this might be the reason why that Bud Foster was like, no, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the head coach. I never want to be a head coach. I just like coaching defense. I like to just do my little thing, and that's my thing. Because Venables said, he goes, there's a lot of stuff I don't know about, and I'm trying to learn. He said that during media days. And if him learning is going to be him also shirking that responsibility of being a defensive coordinator, of being the heart of the defense being the heart and soul of that team, then there becomes a problem. Because the biggest thing that I saw, it wasn't the 49 points. It wasn't even the offense. The biggest thing that I saw was business decisions from the defense. guys that clearly didn't want to be there anymore or didn't want to keep playing in the game. And that, to me, was more heartbreaking than anything. Obviously, nobody's more heartbroken than you, Trevor. But as someone who's watched Venables from Oklahoma to Clemson, back to Oklahoma, his defense has always had this, like, their chest was always puffed out. There was always real pride. They were always ready to rock and roll. These were guys that these were the guys that, like, these were guys, you know what these guys were? And I get it. I'm the only person that's from the South here, or from the Southeast. But this is Chipper Jones showing up during Snowmageddon in Atlanta on his ATV and ready to rock and roll. That's what Brent Venables' defenses have been. In the national championship game, he took out 3 starters and put in a walk-on and 2 other guys that nobody had ever heard of because they didn't do their job. And I think he doesn't feel empowered to do that at Oklahoma right now because he's trying to win the roster over. And it feels really weird. And I'm not excusing him. But what I am saying is that I just don't think he has the wherewithal. I don't know. I don't know what it is. And it's going to be interesting to see how it works out. And I'm sure he's on the phone with Dabo being like, how do I fix this? What am I supposed to do? But it's to watch the defense flounder in that way, for me, as someone who's followed Venables over the course of time, has been very, Stoops, Bob fired his brother for him.
Yep.
Like, he fired his own brother for Venables. He's like, no, this guy's good. You go somewhere else. And it just is, I don't know. That's the part to me that's really heartbreaking and frustrating. It just, I thought at the minimum, they would look a little bit more like Cal, right? With Justin Wilcox, where at least Cal defensively, they still are feisty and they find a way and they're looking for things and they're trying to be a problem. This defense just kind of laying down and the lack of tackling, that hurt me way more than anything offensively. And obviously they tried Trevor, what did you think about the no quarterback offense?
I thought they should have never gotten out of it. Braden Willis, number 9, gets back there. He's the best player on the football team, and I don't think it's really close. I liked that wrinkle, but it also was disappointing because it showed that whatever the preparation was, talking about, Sunday through Friday, they did not have confidence in Davis Bevel, and it showed up. And I think that could – I don't know. I wasn't there. That could be a coaching issue that you don't get this guy in a position to say, hey, just manage it. Like, we know you have enough to – you don't have to go be a hero. Just manage it. But they didn't get to a point where he could even manage it. They got in zero rhythm other than that package. Yep. And excuse me, I think – If Eric Gray doesn't throw that interception, you think they keep running it for the rest of the game? I think they should. They got out of it in the red zone at the other end, and they shouldn't have. They ended up sputtering. I think that, though, because the offense never got in the rhythm, it was much more stressful on the defense. That said, to your point, Brent Venables, I will still say it, best defensive mind in college football. He has proven that until he's proven not. We're getting here to where it's like, okay, we may start talking, maybe it's somebody else, but I've played against Brent Venables' defense. He waxed us when he was at Clemson. I couldn't find a guy to throw to. I looked like Davis Bevel out there, right? Yeah. But what I was disappointed in is answer the bell, answer the call, guys. Like,
somebody stand up.
Run through 2 weeks in a row. You're on the tabloids. Everybody's talking in your ear how bad you've played as a man. I don't care who my coach is. I don't care anything. I'm going to go out there with my hair on fire and prove that I should be on this defense and that we should be the defense that we set out to be. And you don't see that in this Oklahoma team going into this game, 49-0. I mean, it's just tough to swallow, man.
Yeah.
You guys have been around way higher level players and coaches in football than I will ever be. So I'm not going to jump in and tell you anything you haven't heard before. But the only thing I would add to this conversation is just that anyone who would want to point fingers at Brent Venables right now, you don't get to the level of coaching that Brent Venables is without being a great football coach. Like, let's just make one thing very clear. Now, that said, being a great football coach does not mean you have great success at a program like Oklahoma. That's not the only thing that a job like that entails. And to your point, Felder, maybe there are certain levels of politics. Maybe there are certain other things that don't allow you to make some cutthroat decisions that you might at a different program that you might not be able to make at a place like Oklahoma. Or maybe you have to navigate that. Or maybe you have to find a way to motivate a team, because you guys do know this, the football season can be a long beast at certain times. We're only halfway through the season. And this Sooners team cannot stop playing these games. So I am very interested to see what happens from here for Venables.